The Cleveland Browns made a decision to ditch their quarterback, Baker Mayfield. And they replaced him with Deshaun Watson, a guy who has had legal trouble and is suspended for the first 11 games of the year. Here's my question. Was Baker the problem? Or was it the Browns? Why did that relationship not work out? And why did Baker not seem to play well last year? Now, it seems like Baker's going to do at least decent in Carolina as a starting quarterback for the Panthers. So I wonder, will the Browns at any point regret replacing Baker Mayfield with Deshaun Watson? Remember, Baker won their first playoff game in like forever. It's pretty rare you ship that guy off to a different team. So I have to admit, the Deshaun Watson saga makes me deeply uncomfortable what's going on off the field there. I admit that, but on one hand, I can't deny that the last time Deshaun Watson actually played in an NFL game, in a regular season game for Houston way back in 2020, that year Deshaun Watson actually played really well. I have to acknowledge that. He had 33 touchdown passes and 7 interceptions. And look, the team around him was horrible. And he didn't let the mess around him bring him down and drag him down. I thought he played very well. I thought he made good decisions throwing the football, despite the lack of help around him on his team. So I can acknowledge Deshaun Watson does some good stuff as a quarterback. That's the nicest way I can put that. But he has an 11-game suspension. And his first game back from the suspension is going to be Week 13 on the road against his old team at Houston. And I'm sorry, I feel weird admitting this, but I cannot wait to watch that. That's going to be incredible television. It's basically the only exciting Browns or Deshaun Watson storyline all year that I'm like, hey, that's interesting. That's fun. I do wonder if Deshaun Watson is going to be rusty. It's going to be... The last time he played in a regular season game was January 3rd, 2021. That was the last week of the 2020 season. Didn't play at all last year. It's been a long time since Deshaun Watson played meaningful snaps in a football game. And he's only going to play in 6 games this year. Misses 11 of them, comes back, plays the final 6 games of the year. It's hard to imagine Cleveland is going to make the playoffs, with that all going on. And with their quarterback that they are paying, $230 million fully guaranteed. It's hard to imagine that guy, it's hard to imagine that team still making the playoffs without that guy. And like I said, he's suspended for a long time. They are paying him. It's a 5-year, $230 million fully guaranteed contract, which is insane, by the way, they gave him that. Here's an insane question that I think is really fun to think about. Jacoby Brissett is going to be the Browns starting quarterback while Deshaun Watson is out. What if? And this is a crazy what if. What if the Browns start 11-0 and Jacoby Brissett is absolutely dominating and leading the NFL in passing? That's the chaos I want. Can you imagine what do you do if you're the Browns and you're the best team in the NFL? Your quarterback is dominating, and it's not the quarterback you paid a massive contract and traded for. You paid Deshaun Watson all that money, you brought him in, and then Jacoby Brissett, your backup, is the guy killing it. What do you do there? I want to see Jacoby Brissett dominate. I want to see him make it really hard for them to switch to Deshaun Watson. I think that would be absolutely hilarious. Is that going to happen? No. That's not going to happen. But I can still wish for it. That would be hilarious and chaotic and fun. And I think the Browns actually have a pretty decent team on paper. They've got Amari Cooper at receiver, David Njoku at tight end. Their starting center got hurt, but outside of that, they still got a pretty impressive offensive line. They've got 2 good running backs, Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt. They've got a ton of playmakers all across their defense. If Cleveland can survive the first 11 games of the year without Deshaun Watson, then when they get Deshaun Watson back, and that's a big ask, by the way, to survive those 11 games without their starting quarterback. But if they can do that, then when they get Deshaun Watson back, they've got a lot of talent. They could be good, actually. If the Browns can survive 11 games of the year without their starting quarterback somehow, they are actually primed to do pretty well when Deshaun Watson gets back. And I just think it's going to be so much fun, man. I hate to admit it, I know Deshaun Watson did stuff off the field that makes me deeply uncomfortable. But it's going to be fun to track Baker Mayfield, the Browns, Deshaun Watson. Who's going to end up winning the breakup? Will the Browns regret their move? And look, maybe Baker struggles and Deshaun comes back and plays really well. I mean, maybe the Browns end up winning the breakup. It's very possible. Time is going to tell what happens here, but it's going to be really interesting to see what happens. And week 13, Deshaun Watson on the road at his old team, Houston. That's must-watch TV for me. I can't wait for that to happen. I kind of shamefully admit that. I can't wait to see what's going to happen in that game. It's going to be insanely interesting. That's why the NFL planned it that way. And so, I don't know. I don't have a lot more to add about Deshaun Watson, but I know that week 13, that's a moment I'm really excited and interested to watch happen. And it's pretty much the only interesting storyline regarding Deshaun Watson and the Browns that I'm excited about all year.